Be a thought leader. Grow your knowledge community. Create more mind reach. History of Fire Ant Management, a teaching module for Master Gardener training, based on a presentation by David F. Williams with the Department of Entomology and Nematology at the University of Florida. By estimates, the imported fire ant was introduced into the United States in 1918. However, it was not until 1937 that the first organized government program was initiated in Baldwin County, Alabama. Approximately 2,000 acres of vegetable crop was treated with calcium cyanide dust. During the years of 1940 to 1947, all management programs were halted due to World War II, and fire ants continued to spread. In 1948, Mississippi, Alabama, and Louisiana appropriated funds for a control program using 5% chlordane dust. In 1957, U.S. Congress appropriated $2.4 million to the USDA for federal and state cooperative efforts to initiate management and eradication programs for fire ants. In November of 1957, the pesticides heptachlor and dieldrin were applied by air and ground. In 1958, environmental concerns about wildlife and residue problems began to mount, and the program was stopped. In 1960, a new pesticide bait called Mirex was developed by the USDA. The new Mirex bait replaced heptachlor as a treatment for ants in the federal state-funded eradication program. Around this same time, in 1962, Rachel Carson's book, Silent Spring, was published, warning of the environmental dangers of the pesticide DDT. This brought national concern to the use of certain pesticides. By the end of the federal program, 140 million acres had been treated for fire ants using aircrafts of different types, including this modified World War II aircraft. During the Mirex bait treatment years of the fire ant eradication program, the total treatment cost per acre amounted to only 30 cents. In the late 60s, residues of Mirex were detected in non-target organisms, which are animals that were not meant to be affected by Mirex. It was also found that Mirex persisted in the environment, accumulated in non-target organisms, was toxic to estuary organisms, and was a potential carcinogen. As a result, the EPA canceled all registrations of Mirex bait. In 1977, the USDA initiated a large-scale chemical screening program to find a replacement for Mirex. In 1980, just 2.5 years after Mirex was banned, Amdro fire ant bait became available to the public. Let's take a look at the timeline of the development of imported fire ant chemical controls. In 1937, calcium cyanide dust was used. In 1947, chlordane dust. 1957, heptachlor and dieldrin granulars. 1962 to 1978, Mirex bait was used. In the 1980s, hydromethylnon, phenoxycarb, and abamectin baits were developed, all of which are still baits used today. In the 1990s, pyroxafen, methoprene, and spinosad was used, and in the 2000s, fipronil and doxycarb, and there are bound to be others as time and research progresses. The two-step method for treating lawns is a common method suggested for the treatment of fire ants. The two-step method is suggested for moderate to large areas of turf and is not recommended for lightly infested areas. The goal of the two-step method is to reduce fire ant problems while minimizing the need to treat individual mounds. This reduces labor and pesticide use. Step 1 of the two-step method is to broadcast a bait product in the spring or the fall. Step 2 is to treat nuisance mound as necessary and to start scouting approximately 3 days after the bait treatment is applied. There are many advantages to a community-wide fire ant management program. In a community-wide fire ant management program, the neighborhood works cooperatively to help save money, time, and effort when controlling fire ants. This lengthens the time of reinfestation. Of course, education is key, and homeowners must cooperate with one another by treating the neighborhood at the same time. Homeowner associations many times contract with the commercial applicator to treat the neighborhood as well. In conclusion, Chemical control is still the most effective method. However, biological control agents may provide long-term suppression of fire ant populations. Future control will involve multiple strategies of chemical, biological, behavioral, molecular, physical, and cultural methods. Education is an important key and plays a vital role in the management of imported fire ants, hence the development of the eXtension Fire Ant webpage. Please visit us at www.extension.org/fire+ants. You may find all the information you require on fire ants at this webpage.